Hi everyone, welcome or welcome back. If you're new, I'm Periwinkle Jellyfish and I'm a silly little person that draws silly little characters. Today, I'm not going to be drawing any characters though. I'm going to be improving on some weak points or things that I think I need to practice a little bit more in my art style. So I started out by making just a little word cloud to see what I think I should work on today. So in one, I put body proportions / anatomy. In this one, I am putting hands, which is one of the things I struggle with most in my art style. So I even underlined it. Then my fountain pen was being weird, so I shook it a little bit, thinking that some glitter in it was maybe clogging it. And then I accidentally created this little guy and created a little face, because what else do you do when you have two little dots? So now I'm moving on to writing maybe improve the hair. And now we're creating another bubble. What will be inside? There will be, I'm thinking for a moment, and eyes. So now we just have to move on to the final word cloud that I decided to work on. And for this one, it was facial expressions. So also, I took a little video of this guy because he is glorious. But he did not last very long because I turned my page and then I realized I'd done this, and I was not happy about it. But I am apparently moving on to working on the eyes. So let's begin. For the eyes, I just wanted to practice just different styles and ways to draw them. I have currently 3 different ways that I draw eyes. The first approach that I take is the circle approach. This one I usually use for more energetic or peppy and bubbly characters. And I just think it can really express just like a bubbly excitedness to a person. So I decided to draw each of these 3 ways to draw eyes twice, just so that I can kind of, practice it a little bit and get a little bit better at it, and some things that I struggle with in the eyes. So I'm just working on that second one, and I'm making this one slightly different just because I like to have the amount of eyelashes and bottom lashes in my character's eyes vary, so that I can kind of tell them apart, if that makes sense. So for each character, there will be a specific amount of eyelashes, and the approach in their eyes will be different as well, kind of making every single one of them unique. Now we're working on the parallelogram approach. And for some reason, I just could not draw parallelograms for the life of me today. So I just had to retry it a few times before I got it right. This approach generally can be used for a character that's a bit laid back, or sassy, or maybe a bit mean. Or at least that's what I usually do for this character. Or not character, this approach for the eyes. I actually haven't really used this one at all yet, but it's there, it's waiting for its opportunity to shine. I just need to create a character that I think this sort of eye would work out great on. But obviously, since I haven't used this one very much, I'm also not very good at it so far, and I could use a little bit of practice, so let's draw this one again. So I'm creating another parallelogram, and just making that shape in the eye, the lashes, I guess. And now I'm adding the 2 bottom lashes and the actual eye, because, they're important and you need to see through those. Then I accidentally made a mistake trying to create another parallelogram. Since it's just a rough sketch, I guess I didn't really need to freak out so much over just the shape, but oh well. So I got back to work on it and just did that again. One thing that I struggle with sometimes is making the eyes look symmetrical sometimes. So I just have been practicing that a little bit. Now we're moving on to my favorite eye approach, the siren or oval approach. Technically it's just an oval, but I prefer to call it the siren approach just because it sounds way prettier. So yeah, this eye approach I usually use for characters that are calm or elegant and refined and well-mannered, I suppose. Or maybe a character that's somewhat half asleep or lazy, maybe. This is the approach that I take most often, so I guess it can just be a neutral one as well. I'm labeling all these eye approaches too, so we have the circle, parallelogram, and then the siren / oval approach. The siren approach is definitely similar to the circle approach. It's just wider and it's a bit less energetic, if that makes sense. Now we're just going to do this one more time, just for the sake of it, and try to practice this a little bit more. I did some eyelashes, and yeah. Now we're about to move on to part of the eyes that I think is really important for my art style, at least. Just practicing how the level of eyelashes and the amount of them and level of spikiness or softness can kind of display a lot about a character. So for this one, I am creating just a average eye, and I'm doing it on both sides, and I'm just going to create one side lash, because generally for one side lash, I generally consider these characters to be, or this level of eyes, not character, to be a bit generic but calm and elegant, if that makes sense. But double side lashes, I mean, tend to be a little bit more energetic-y, if that makes sense. Energetic-y is not a word, but you get it. Yeah. So I'm just working on that to just practice all the different ways that I can make eyes look very unique and different from other characters. Then I can just mix and match however many lashes and top lashes and bottom lashes and side lashes I want, so that every character will be unique and have a different amount of lashes to them. I feel like I'm saying that too much. Okay. Now we are going to just add some finishing touches, and we're going to work on the next part of the eyes, which is the flamboyantness or the softness of eyelashes, just to figure out, just kind of display how that can kind of like look really different just right next to each other. This one I'm only going to draw one eye each, but I just didn't want to draw this twice because I was getting tired of drawing eyes and lashes, and I'm getting tired of saying lashes. So for this eye, you can see that the side lash is a lot more flamboyant and long than a usual eyelash. I like to consider this one for characters that I consider to be very stylish and fashionable. Meanwhile, for this one, I'm creating one that's eyelash that's very soft and small. This one can kind of be just generic or display calmness in a character. And once it's right next to each other, you can see that difference in there and how it kind of displays a different mood, if that makes sense. I'm adding the same amount of eyelashes on each eye just to show that just that small change in just the side lash can really have a big difference. But now we're done with the eyes, and I can stop saying lashes, so let's move on to the hair. I decided to practice on the hair a little bit just because I wanted to show kind of how I have some 4 specific things that I use for the front of the hair that just kind of helps differentiate some characters. I guess this video is kind of just me showing some things that I use to make characters unique, and I suppose that's it. One thing that I like to use for a lot of my characters is what I call side swoopies. I usually have them in pairs, but I suppose I could do something entirely separate. I'm just doing basic front hair and then just plain hair in the back, just to keep things simple and simplistic. So I'm labeling this one the double swoopies, or double side swoopies rather. And now we're going to move on to a down swoopy. I generally have more than one, but just for this one, I'm keeping this, just have one of them and no other swoopies around, just for the sake of simplicity, I guess. A good example of this would be that for my persona, I have 2 side swoopies and then 1 down swoopy on my hair, just because that's a good example of, well, how you can combine a few things and then it's not looking so bad. All these rough sketches of hair just look kind of terrible on their own, just because I'm doing individual little details that I usually add together and combine to make it look good, if that makes sense, I suppose. So, yeah. Now we are moving on to another way that I do hair, and this one is going to be, let's see if I can remember it correctly. Which one is it? Okay, first up we are doing the sides of the hair, just because I like to do some hair in the front. Okay, for this one we're doing no side swoopies, no down swoopies, just a plain old hairline. I'm well aware that all of these options look really terrible on their own, but when you combine them and start to add them together, then it starts to look not as bad, I guess. So just bear with me for a moment. I do feel like I still have some room for improvement in drawing hair, but hopefully I'll get there soon. Now we're moving on to the final one, and this is actually a way to draw the front hair that I have not actually done yet or used yet, which is the classic one of having hair cover one eye, I guess. I didn't really realize how much I needed to practice this stereotypical thing until I tried to do it myself, and I realized, yeah, I should practice this more, so maybe in some future videos you'll see characters with hair covering one eye. Just that's me trying to figure out how to get better at that. When I draw a character, I generally try to target some things that I don't feel like I'm very good at, or I try to practice with something that I feel like could work out really well, and if it doesn't, oh well, just undo it and you'll be fine. So yeah, I don't know what I'm saying now. Okay, we're almost done with practicing the hair. Goodness, I cannot talk today. Okay. I thought about adding a fifth or sixth practice of the hairstyling, but I realized I did not have the space for that in my sketchbook. Although, in hindsight, I probably could have done it in the middle and it probably would have been fine, but oh well. Now I'm showing these practices, and now we can move on to the final thing I'm going to practice today, which is chibi hands. I have a anime-ish cartoony art style and a chibi art style, and I want to improve my chibi art style a little bit, and I just feel like, particularly in the hands, I struggle with this, because I've seen people do these very round, pudgy little hands for their chibis, and I think it's so cute, but I draw my chibi hands in the same way that I draw my anime cartoony style, so I wanted to change that a little bit. So for this, instead of drawing a rectangular square for hands, I'm doing a circle as the rough sketch instead, and then just adding a little expansion onto it for the thumbs. I'm even adding little notes after each little chibi hand style I try to practice. My goodness, I cannot talk today. So yeah. I'm just trying to draw these hands in different poses and positions, and the further I got into this, the more I realized just how much I need to practice this, because I definitely have a long ways to go in terms of chibi hands. For this pointy one, it looked fairly good, a lot better than my first attempt, and now we're going to move on to another hand. Let's see, what am I going to do this time? So now I'm moving on to that thumb and adding the circles that I'll use to designate where the fingers are going to be. And I am trying to make a fist now. So I'm just trying to make these hands a little bit chubby and pudgy compared to other ways that I would draw them. And yeah, now you can see the finished fist, and I give it a 4 out of 10 just because I felt like it could have been better, but it's not the worst thing I've ever drawn. Yeah. So now we're going to move on to another hand, which will be another angled one. So it's not just straight up, it's angled to the side. Now let's see, what am I doing? I am trying to have the pointer finger in front of another two fingers. For my chibi art style, I usually give them 4 fingers, but because I just think it makes things a little bit more simplistic and cutesy. Personally, I think this one turned out, this hand drawing turned out fairly okay. But yeah, I gave it a 9 out of 10 because I was fairly proud of this one. I added a little bit more detail to the label for chibi hands, and now we're going to move on to drawing another one. This hand that I'm drawing is probably the worst one I attempted to draw. As I just mentioned, I usually make 4 fingers when drawing a chibi hand, but when you're trying to do a little 2 fingers hold it up like a peace sign, it doesn't turn out too well when you only have 4 fingers, because only one of them is going down, and it's just... this one just didn't turn out as good as I thought it would in my head, so I'm definitely going to try to practice this one a lot more off camera and maybe in future videos. As you can see, I literally wrote down, no, bad. because I didn't like how this one turned out. But I tried not to dwell on it for too long and just moved on to the next sound. And for this one, it also didn't turn out as well as I thought it would, only proving that I just need to work on this a little bit more to get it better. This just means I have a little bit more room for improvement. So let's get to it. Now I'm just going to try to draw the hand all stretched out, just stretch as far as it can go. But as you can see, it's going not as well as I pictured it would. I'll look on Pinterest, see if I can see examples of chibi hands and see if that can give me any point, and see if studying that can give me a little bit of notes on what I did wrong and how to improve on it. Those are all the things that I practiced today, so I believe that's all we'll do. Thank you so much for watching this video through to the end, and I believe that's it. So I'll see you again later. Bye!